Solo breakdown today. This one I'm excited about because it's a bit of luck here. This email from Phox, who create eco water filters and eco water filter refills, landed in my inbox the day after I had a conversation with a client about reach and growth. So if you're building an e-commerce brand, often early on you will create this loyal fan base. So through kind of social media and your initial marketing efforts, those initial launch, you get a really loyal fan base. But then there can sometimes, not always, but sometimes become this point where the growth starts to slow and you start to question, right, okay, now how do we get out to new customers? And the conversation we were having was around this and around growth strategies that aren't just social media ads. You know, other ways you can grow your brand and grow your brand using things like your existing loyal base and email, because that's where the loyal base is. Everyone that's bought from your brand or is interested in your brand so far, hopefully, is in your email list. So how do you utilize that? How do you utilize email and growth strategies? So that's bringing it all together. This brand that then dropped into my inbox as a beautiful example that I then shared with my client is, like I say, from a water filter brand. Now, I've had mine for a couple of years. This brand must have been going at least 2-3 years. I'm not sure exactly, but they're established. And they're now launching a rewards program. And there's two elements to this. I see brands, sometimes they do one, sometimes they do the other, and sometimes they do both. This brand is launching both, and that's a points scheme and a referral scheme. Points schemes, you're probably really familiar with. So if you give a brand your date of birth, or you follow them on Instagram, or you make an order, you get points that you can then use for rewards. The referral scheme is when I refer a friend, I get a reward, they also get a reward. So there's two elements, and like I say, Phox are launching them together. So a beautiful email, really lovely imagery that they have on their website. They've brought that over to the email, logo, powerful image, big header, so we can see it, we can read it. Say hello to Phox Rewards, our new way of saying thank you. So we're thanking you, our reader, our customer. Now this is obviously a segmented email, which is very clever, as you'll see. Earn points every time you shop, refer a friend, or celebrate a milestone. Then it goes on to say, as an existing Phox customer, there's that segmentation, we've added an extra 50 bonus points to your account on top of the 40 account setup points. So I'm being rewarded before I've even done anything because I'm an existing customer. Just sign in to see your current points. Your journey to better water just got more rewarding. Start earning today. Now, I logged in straight away because I've been rewarded before I've done anything. I'm intrigued to see what the rewards for collecting these points are. I get my water refills from them. They last 3 months. You can buy them in packs. So often you'll buy a year or 6 months in advance. I'm going to be buying from them. So I know I'm going to be getting points. So I'm intrigued to see what those points can be used for. There's also a bit at the bottom that tells me about the referral scheme. So if I refer a friend, they get £5 off their first order over £20, and I earn £5 that I can then use for a future purchase. Both of these sound pretty straightforward. There's not an overload of information in this email. So like I said, my thinking straight away was, I wonder what the points will get me. And that's why I clicked. So quite clever here. There's not an overload. It's just that really important information of, we're launching these rewards and you as an existing customer are getting the extra points. really on brand, as you can see. I was going to use the word simple, and I mean it with all the best love in the world. It's a simple email. That's how I like to see it. Once you've clicked through from the email, you'll see what I meant by the email being really on brand. You know, that email look is very consistent with what we're seeing here on the website. And then here, because we've got the extra space and the facilities, the capability to use more images, icons here, more sections, there's a lot more on how the schemes work, how you gain your points, the tiers, and then what you can be rewarded with. All of it's very straightforward. We'll all be familiar with seeing these on the sites of brands we love, but it's lovely to see it laid out so well, because if they had condensed this all into that email, it would have felt overwhelming. The message in the email that I'm being rewarded, I've got the extra points, come and find out how you use them, is all that we needed in that launch email. How it all works is then on the website. So that's, yeah, the perfect way for this to be laid out. Now, I will not pretend that implementing these kind of reward schemes is in any way straightforward or cheap. There is going to be effort and time gone into finding the right platform, the right apps for your website, you know, to make these work. There's also, like I say, the monetary value of those platforms and apps, but also the monetary cost of giving away free points. So my points here with Phox, once I collect 275, is one of these beautiful on the go bottles. So they've had to do some calculations here as to the cost of retaining clients, customers. You know, they want to keep their customers. So for them, the cost of this bottle is obviously much more valuable than having to go out and spend on bringing in new customers. Equally, they'll have worked out that using a referral scheme and that cost of that £10 to get that new customer, 5 for the referrer, 5 for the new customer, is worth the value of getting a qualified, and I'll come back and explain that in a minute, but a qualified lead, a qualified new customer, rather than going out and having to try and bring in cold customers. Now, the reason I'm kind of calling them qualified leads or qualified customers is when you're using your existing fan base, your existing customers, and making them advocates and getting them to bring in your customers, essentially you're bringing in more people like them, more people who are likely to like your brand. And this is because often as humans, we tend to navigate and hang out with people that are similar to us, similar to age groups, similar, you know, income brackets, all those demographics. We tend to, not, you know, exceptions, but tend to hang out with people like us. So in my case, I'm sure that if I went out to a few of my best mates, told them about this water filter that I use, that I have been using for years, how much I love it, how easy it is, how eco it is, which is something that my demographic is, you know, is a fan of. I'm sure if they then use this product, they are likely to stick at it. They're likely to buy the product, buy the refills, and keep going for several years like I have. And Phox have obviously worked out that that is valuable. That's worth the £10 of what they have to give away, this incentive. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not an easy way to grow your brand, but it's an effective way. So if you have the time and you have the capability and you're able to give these incentives away, it's definitely worth thinking about. And it works so well with email as a growth strategy because, like I said, those loyal customers, those loyal fans, those would-be advocates are the people in your list. That's where you start. That's where you launch this from. That's how you grow this.